Okay, so day after the Super Bowl now, let's really get into how Patrick Mahomes played. Was this his fault at all is the question I want to answer, because there's undeniably multiple ways you can look at it. You can't say, hey, he was in an awful situation, what are you going to do? Well, if you watch the film, you can still evaluate someone in a bad situation. You can throw out the plays that there was nothing he could have done, and also talk about the plays where there was something he could have done and he failed, such as the one you see on your screen. You see the route that Kelsey is going to run over the middle, and this isn't like a horrible play or anything, but watch what happens. As you see when this play begins, so Kelsey's going to try and get into a gap in coverage, and the throw is behind him. Now, again, Kelsey usually makes that catch. I think it's fair to blame both guys on this, and I think they'll both tell you they should have been a little better, but there were some of that. This one, another one, on a 3rd down and 3, you see he just kind of pulled that one, throws it too far down, and Kelsey can't make that grab. That one, to me, was just a missed throw from Mahomes, and this is on a 3rd down. So this could have given them a 1st down, and the one I showed you earlier would have given them a 1st down on a 2nd down. Then they weren't able to convert to 3rd down. So those are a couple of drive killers, essentially. So those are big mistakes, and that's not the offensive line's fault. That's Mahomes' fault. Although heading over to a play like this, undeniably, this was a part of the issue with the Chiefs so on this play, it's going to be man coverage that the Eagles are going to be running right here. And when Mahomes takes a snap, something that happened a lot this game, nothing getting open. So Mahomes going to try and scramble out, but the Eagles are doing a pretty good job at containing him. I mean, this is just, again, Mahomes is in a tough spot. Definitely Mahomes is in a tough spot. What are you going to do? Well, he's Patrick Mahomes, so watch him scramble outside. He does do a pretty good job at being able to get outside the pocket. Now, the Eagles still do a good job at hitting him as he's throwing. But honestly, this is an ill-advised throw from Mahomes. This was on the first drive of the game. You're throwing into double coverage while getting hit that far down the field. It's just, you're asking for trouble right here. And as you see, it could have been intercepted, was incomplete, but there were some of that. And I think one of the things I would bring up, and probably Mahomes' worst attribute in this game, was just turnovers, like putting the ball in harm's way. This one, which wasn't a turnover, but still not ideal. But then a couple of actual turnovers. And these really, I mean, this is what turned this game from, okay, it's not going well, to, okay, this might be over quickly. So first, this play. Again, scoreboard-wise, they're okay. They're down 10-0 midway through the second. They've famously been down 10-0 in or 10 points or more in every Super Bowl they've played. It's zone coverage, and there's going to be a designed rollout on a 3rd down and 16. That's worth noting. It might be tough here, but again, your defense is playing well up until this point. A punt isn't the worst thing in the world. Well, Mahomes is going to take the snap. He's going to roll out towards the top of the screen, but watch Cooper DeJean on this play. He's in coverage, and I really don't know why. I think what happens here is, so I think he sort of knows the coverage, knows the concept, and says, well, I can, there's no one in front of me. Zach Bond's taking care of the running back, so let me just kind of drop back into where the throwing lane is. And Mahomes, there's no getting around it. He just missed him. I don't know if it's the grass is green and he's wearing green and that fooled Mahomes. I don't think so. Mahomes just missed him. Watch how he just essentially throws it right to the John, who then has a pick 6 on that play. And now it's an issue. I mean, you saw the body language shift after this play. I think Travis Kelce looked, like he saw someone get shot after this play. When after that down 10-0, they felt okay because, hey, we're always down 10-0. Down 17-0, that's just different. And then this one, so okay, you're down 17-0, but again, 1st down and 10, you're thinking that if they can just score some points on this drive, they get the ball to start the second half, get some points here, maybe you can score a touchdown to start the second half, and all of a sudden, it's a 1-score game. That's possible. Well, right here, you see the route on the screen. Mahomes is going to take the snap, tries to fit it through a window under, in coverage, but because he gets hit, it's intercepted. Again, definitely the contact played a role, but still, you have to protect the football. At the end of the day, an interception is an interception, and these were huge. I mean, when you give the Eagles 14 points, I think a lot of people might say, well, what is Mahomes supposed to do? Sure, he could have played better, but they gave up 24 at the half. Well, if Mahomes didn't turn the ball over, they would have only given up 10 at the half. Not to mention, I showed you multiple missed throws that killed drives. So those are 4 drives that they got killed, along with spotting the other team 14 points. I mean, that completely changed the game. If you could at least put, I don't know, 3 points on 2 of those drives, it could have been a 10-6 game at the half, completely, having a chance as opposed to it being essentially over. Also, I want to go over here because we got to talk about the offensive line because, for one thing, I think it's fair to say, hey, it's easy for an offensive line to look bad when they're down 24-0 at the half and you have to throw all the time and then they're stuck, against defensive linemen who can simply just pass rush, don't have to worry about the threat of a run. Of course, undeniably, they didn't play very well. Like, I'm not trying to sit here and say that they did. Like, that was a factor. But also something like this. So, again, this is a 1st down and 10. They just got a 1st down. And it feels like, okay, can they finally get something going down 24-0? You see Mahomes right here. Again, game situation matters. On a 1st and 10, he has a clean pocket, and he needs to get this ball out of his hands. There are checkdowns available. Instead, he just scrambles up, gets sacked right there. That's one of those plays where everyone after it says, oh, wow, offensive line getting beat again. The offensive line did their job on that one. That was on you would have loved to see someone in the receiving core get open a little bit earlier, for sure. And that was a big factor as well. What are you going to do if you're Mahomes? But still, he could have, at the very least, thrown the ball away or thrown a check down. For all of the pressure that Mahomes had, I don't believe he had a single throwaway. So sometimes it's less about the bad plays that you make and more about just not minimizing bad plays, right? Situations like this kind of, it wasn't a great situation, but he made the worst of it. This play, too, I thought was a mistake from Mahomes. And again, it's 27-0. The game is over. I get it. But you're still out there. You're still trying. It's a 4th down and 5. In theory, you score a touchdown here. You're now down 20 points heading into the 4th quarter. That is a thing that people have come back from before. It doesn't happen very often, but I remember the Ravens blew a 21-point lead to the Dolphins in the 4th quarter. I think it was last year or a couple years ago. So it's possible. Okay, it's worth a shot, right? You're already here in the Super Bowl. You see on this play, it's Hopkins' route that they're going to look towards, trying to get kind of open towards the sideline. Mahomes takes a snap. He looks in that direction. And as of right here, is this open? I mean, again, if you make a great throw and great catch, it feels like it's possible. Like, I can see why he wants to look there. I will say, he has another player open. Tight end Noah Gray, who's just one guy over. That would have been a completion had Mahomes looked in that direction and made the throw. Again, it's so easy to say this in hindsight, so I'm not going to crush him for it or anything. But, at the same time, I don't think it's crazy to say we grade Patrick Mahomes on a bit of a curve, right? We're used to seeing him read these plays quickly and getting the ball to the right player. And if we give him credit when he locates the right guy and hits the open guy, we also have to give him blame when he doesn't do that. Also here, you see a great defensive play, so that's a part of it as well. Sometimes you have some good defensive plays, but yeah, I mean, still, it's something you could definitely throw some blame on for him if you want. I want to end with this last play because I actually think this is a perfect microcosm of this game. I think this play really shows how I view Mahomes' performance. It's a 3rd down and 3. Early on in the game, it's 7-0. Mahomes is going to take the snap. He looks down the field, starts to step up, and there's some pressure. He does have an open receiver, though, so you can make the throw. It's just a difficult play for him to make. And I think this is kind of how I view this performance, is Mahomes was in a difficult spot. He had a lot of difficult plays to make, and he was probably never going to be outstanding in a game like this due to the situation. But here he misses the throw, and that's kind of how he played in this game. He was in a tough spot, but he was not able to deliver when they needed him to. And because of that, I think it's fair to put criticism on him. Again, the Chiefs are built around having a quarterback who can be great in every situation and can outplay the opposing quarterback game in and game out. He didn't do that here. While it would be unfair to completely criticize, only Mahomes and not criticize the other stuff was there all year. This was the same receiving core they had against Buffalo. This was the same offensive line they had against Buffalo, and Mahomes played great in that game, right? So they needed more from Mahomes. That's kind of how I view all of this. But also, guys are going to have bad games. It is what it is. That's kind of what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.